Hey, Forrest here. Nothing like getting paid. And with ICCU's mobile app, I can deposit checks or accept Zelle payments so the money hits my account fast. I just wish there was an app for mowing the rest of these lawns.
What? Dude. Fish on.
Get ready for the time of your life at Circa Resort and Casino, Las Vegas's newest destination for fun, featuring the world's biggest poolside tailgate party with 3 levels of action, 6 pools, and a 143-foot screen. The fun is always on deck with all the games all year long. Stadium Swim, located in downtown Las Vegas on Fremont Street. Book the time of your life today at circalasvegas.com.
This is Andy Rowe from rowpaint.com. If you've thought about finishing your garage floor, patio, or business, give us a call. We have dozens of floor coating options to fit a variety of budgets and tastes. From polishing to stone finishes, decorative chips, and more, rowpaint.com is the largest applicator of specialty coatings in the Treasure Valley. Let the official coatings company of the Broncos bring you a 5-star experience and product.
My husband and I are like, we should have done this sooner, and it really changes your garage. Like your garage is just so much cleaner, and it stays so much cleaner. I'm not really sure how that's possible, but it does, and it's literally my favorite room in our house right now. I would definitely recommend Row Paint to my friends, family, and neighbors. The outcome was amazing. The process was amazing. Row Paint was so awesome, and I am highly impressed, and I would use them for other things as well.
Rowpaint.com. Power in people, pride in painting.
This is Bronco Nation News Live. The best interviews, the most informed opinions, the latest breaking news, all from the top Boise State insiders. Today's broadcast is coming from the Cutwater Spirits Canned Cocktail Studios. Check out one of their more than 30 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Canned Cocktails is perfect for your next game day tailgate party. Now, here's 4-time NSMA Idaho Sports Writer of the Year, BJ Rains, with another edition of Bronco Nation News Live.
Hey, how we doing, Boise State fans? Happy Wednesday to you here at Bronco Nation News, at BroncoNationNews.com. This is a Lithia Ford Boise Wednesday edition, so make sure you check out their full inventory vehicles at LithiaFordBoise.com. John Mallory's in the Row Paint Studios there in downtown Boise at KTIK 95.3. The Ticket apparently thought he was not in Boise, Idaho today, where it's 39 degrees right now. We're in the Hawaiian shirt. I like it, Johnny, but happy Wednesday, man.
BJ, good to be on with you. Happy Wednesday to you, too. You know, we talked about this last night, being Wednesday. I woke up today, and it was funny. I was going through the motions in my head of what the day is, and I was like, oh, yeah, I'm on with BJ today. I actually spaced it a little bit, but made it here okay, all ready to go. I hear there's going to be some big news, possibly. Reading your Twitter account this morning regarding a basketball program in this town. So I know you got the info for 7,000 plus people who are probably watching this right now.
I was just happy that I paid you today before I got your text saying it's reminding me to pay you. So go check your account, man. You've been paid for May for Bronco Nation News. So whenever the first of the month falls on a day where Johnny is on with me, I know I'm going to get his best effort because you've received your gambling money for the next month. So you're paid up.
PJ. Yeah, yes. Happy to be on the team.
Johnny's the guy that loves to, like, at 6 a.m. on the first of the month, remind you it's the first of the month. And he tried it last month, but he had already gotten paid and hadn't noticed it. And this time got up bright and early this morning, got it done. So John Mallory is locked and loaded for another month of BNN appearances here on Wednesdays. And yeah, Johnny, they'll be coming out today, but it does sound like it's going to be a nice day for Boise State basketball. You can probably read between the lines. They've had some visitors the last couple of days over the weekend. I think you and me even saw one of them at the softball game on Saturday. So the coaching staff's out there working hard, and sounds like the boosters really stepped up. The NIL money really stepped up, and a couple, at least 1-2 lucrative offers got it done. So stay tuned today. We'll let the kids kind of have the make the announcement themselves or let it come out publicly first. But I think those that were wondering if Leon Rice had lost the locker room or worried about the program and everything's in shambles, when Chibuzo Abo left, I think he'll be able to take at least a little bit of a deep breath, hopefully by the end of today with some of the news that comes out. So Boise State basketball is in a pretty good spot right now. But Johnny, it's crazy because this whole transfer portal thing and the football portal closing, the basketball portal closing, and I wasn't even sure what day it closed. Boise State's compliance office wasn't even sure. It said May 1st, but is that when May 1st starts? Is that through the end of May 1st? And it turns out the basketball transfer portal window actually doesn't close until midnight Eastern tonight. So one more day of folks potentially entering the portal. The football portal closed last night, though, so no news is good news for Boise State football.
Okay, that's interesting. I mean, people don't even know when the portal's closed anymore. No one knows anything about the world of college football or basketball other than the fact that you can basically get any player you want right now as long as you're going to meet what they need or what they're going to require. And, I mean, it is the Wild West. You get your roster rated, well, time to raid somebody else's roster or what they would hope, raid the portal. Go in and get guys who are already looking for a place to play, not trying to get someone who already has a place to play to leave that place and come to your place to play. So that's where all this confusion is for me. That's the biggest frustration I have is coaches not shopping in the portal, shopping on other teams' rosters, but everybody's doing it until there's going to be some regulations. Looking forward to seeing the news today for Boise State hoops. It's kind of like a lottery ticket, BJ. I mean, are you going to replace Buzo or get a better player? Probably not, but you might. That's in the cards. You never know. And I would trust this coaching staff that they're going to find right players for their system too. And it's just the nature of the beast now. You're getting a new team every year, and it's kind of like those scratch tickets. You hope it's a better player than even you hope he is. And for the fans, obviously, I can see the angst.
Well, you have 3 starters leaving in Roddy Anderson, Chibuzo Abo to the transfer portal, Max Rice to graduation. I would say if all goes today like it should, or at least in the next couple of days when this all comes out, I personally feel like the roster overall, while maybe Buzo himself, man for man, will not be replaced. That's going to be almost impossible to get one single player on this roster the caliber of Buzo. I would say that most fans that look at this rationally and look at the big picture would say the roster will be overall improved from last season. When you put the 3 additions together and what they needed and what they're getting, I would say that they're going to be in a pretty decent spot. Hopefully, if the news today comes through. So we'll see what happens with that, Johnny. But again, even Boise State's compliance office yesterday, I feel for Nate Lowry because I called him like 3 different times yesterday because I kept hearing different stuff. And they were under the impression the transfer portal closed yesterday. And then like at 5 o'clock, he's like, up might actually be tomorrow. So there was all kinds of confusion on the wording of it. But the football transfer portal did close last night. The basketball transfer portal does close tonight. Yeah. And again, this does not mean you have to sign. I've said this a couple times, but I keep getting questions on this. I know you know this, Johnny, but that does not mean you have to add your players by 10 p.m. tonight. This just means this is for the players to announce they're leaving their current school, and then you can add them. Somebody asked me when the deadline was. I mean, would it be the first day of class or at some point the last day of enrollment? Like, you can keep adding players all the way through the summer as long as they've already entered the transfer portal come 10 p.m. tonight. So there's no rush to sign the players by 10 p.m. tonight. You just have to go say you're going in the portal, and then we'll see what happens the next couple of weeks. But if today goes as expected, Johnny, I would suspect today is the last major day, and then the remaining scholarship or 2 will either be saved for mid-year guys or maybe go to like a high school developmental player. I think the impact guys are going to probably come today, and then we'll see what they do with the roster moving forward. But I was talking to Jay Tust about this, Johnny. We've talked about this. I know you guys did a whole segment on your show the day after Buzo left. The tampering, the transfer portal, the taking guys on other guys' rosters. Like what can be done to kind of try to figure? You see JT Toppin from New Mexico day before the transfer portal closes, gone all of a sudden. Any great ideas over there in the KTIK studios on how the transfer portal can be fixed or changed, and how we can avoid some of this just blatant tampering and cheating that's going on?
Yeah, I mean, you could say, well, make the players sign contracts. That way they have to stay. Well, that doesn't make coaches stay. Coaches are under contract. They leave too when a better opportunity comes. So no, I wish I had, the golden ticket for this thing to fix everything. Johnny Ballgame's got all the answers. I don't, man. I don't know how they're going to try to get some of the toothpaste back in the bottle if that's what the plan is, man. I mean, it's just a free-for-all, dude. Build your roster however the heck you want. Oh, school, class, doesn't really matter. We'll work the particulars out there and, let's contact these guys even though they are on rosters. Maybe it would be if you can prove that tampering occurred, if you can prove it.
Yeah.
I mean, then who do you penalize? Do you penalize the school? And how do you do that? Do you penalize the player? And how do you do that? I mean, you penalize the player like, hey, these coaches were in my DMs. They were contacting me. Did you contact back? Well, yeah, I did. I was interested. I want to play at that school. Sure, I'm interested. Well, that's a violation there. Like it could be a rule where if a coach or somebody gets in your DMs or had any form of contact, maybe there's a chain of command. The player then has to report that to his school, his compliance office says, hey, this school contacted me. Here's the exact screenshot, all this stuff. And then they can, send that up the food chain. But still, players aren't going to do that. Players aren't ratting out coaches in their DMs.
Well, why aren't coaches ratting out other coaches? You saw Kim English. Did you see the Providence coach, Kim English, yesterday with his tweet? Like, hey, he said, hey, coaches, like, if you want, you just reach out to me. I'll let you know if this player is interested in your school. Like, stop reaching out to our guys. If you want, I'll be happy to talk to you. You guys got my number. Basically calling out guys. They have a star player that teams were coming in trying to poach at the last minute. And he didn't name names, but he said, coaches, stop trying to reach out to my players. Like, is it just one of those things where every coach is doing it to some level and they don't want to, if you point the finger at them, they'll turn around and point it back or you, or is it some code amongst coaches? Or why are some schools like a Boise State just okay, where Leon Rice may play by the rules, but Eric Musselman doesn't, and they get Chibuzo Abo for $500,000? Like, why do you think coaches stay quiet on this?
Everybody has to win, okay? And everybody's roster, whether it's getting rated correctly or incorrectly, is getting rated, and they have to fix and they have to sign new guys, and they don't want to get fired next year if you go to the tournament a couple of years in a row, and then all of a sudden you go 5 and what would it be this year? 15 in the Mountain West. I mean, it's pressure. You have to win. You have to build your roster. They probably don't like doing it, but then again, like you said, they're having it done to them. So as far as putting in some type of rules, maybe so. But I mean, players aren't ratting people out because players like the opportunity. People like it when coaches are probably contacting them saying, hey, you could play here. I don't know what you're getting in NIL there, but I can promise you right now in our school, we'll probably be able to triple that. And so it's just a lot of shady stuff, and there's no penalty for it. I don't know what the penalty would be, but hopefully there's one coming and smart people can get together and say, here's how. Maybe we can't fix it, but here's how we can regulate it. And if there is a penalty, if coaches got busted for doing it, they wouldn't do it if the crime was heavy enough, BJ. They just wouldn't. They would shop in the transfer portal like they're saying they're supposed to do. If you want a player, there's 6,000 to choose from. You're not allowed to choose from people who already are playing somewhere. I sound like a broken record now, but yeah, that's kind of the nature of the beast right now, BJ.
Over 1,800 players still in the transfer portal looking for schools. I saw Jeff Goodman's tweet. So there are plenty of players still out there. And you see a lot of these guys, Johnny, it happens both ways. Guys like a Chibuzo Abo gets his money, goes to the bigger, better level, quote unquote, at USC. But then he was one of the first to commit to USC. And now they've had 4 or 5 guys come in after him, including 2 or 3 that pretty much are the same player as him, including Power 5 type transfers. And then you wonder if a guy like Buzo is like getting squeezed out, like, well, where'd my playing time just go? Why'd you keep recruiting other guys around me? Or maybe he got his money and doesn't care. Or you have it the other way where guys go in the portal thinking there's going to, because what do you think it is? Half, Johnny, that half the guys that go in the portal already know where they're going or already know what they're worth or already have some idea of what they can get. And I think that, the other half is some guys think they have a better market and don't, and they put their name in there thinking there's going to be more interest and there's not, and they're left standing at the end of the dance with no partner, and they got nowhere to go. And so the whole thing, as I said, 1,800 plus players still available in the portal, and that's there's only 300 and how many Division I teams are there, Johnny? 360.
350, 360.
You're talking like literally an average of like 4 to 5 average scholarship players per team. So that's why when like Boise State lost 4 guys, everyone was freaking out. Did Leon Rice lose the locker room? Like that's actually less than the average nationally when you talk about players leaving.
Who said that too, though? I heard one yahoo.
There was definitely more than one.
One fart
Twitter followers than you.
Oh, Leon's losing the locker room, and then BJ gives that guy like more attention than he's ever had in his life.
It was more than one. It was
stop giving Gertrude Framlingham all this freaking coverage for saying stupid stuff on Twitter. BJ, stop it! I'm gonna mute you.
You don't have that power today, man. Sorry. Fans still aren't comprehending the upgrade that Roddy to Cardenius is going to be. You're a Cardenius guy, right?
I am, but I was also a Roddy guy, and I thought Roddy was going to pop at some point. But I've heard a lot of people saying, "Hey, it is an upgrade at the position for what Leon wants to do." Okay, so we'll see how Cardenius is going to play. And I understand people saying, "Well, yeah, look at all the numbers he had. He was on a team that won 4 or 5 Mountain West games. Yeah, of course he was playing. Of course he got to do whatever he wanted. He better have stats. Yeah, starting point guard. The ball is constantly in his hands. I would hope he has stats. And then he didn't play well here in Boise, so people have that in their head. But no, I think that's probably an upgrade at point guard. But we still have to see. I liked Roddy too, and I wish him the best. But yeah, Cardenius, for what Leon wants to do, from what I've heard, he fits like a glove. So yeah, and with a couple more players coming possibly today, Boise State basketball's been able to reload this thing, and we'll see if they're ready to do what they've never done before. Win an NCAA tournament game. Basically, Tyson Degenhart, let him leave this school as maybe the all-time leading scorer, but also the guy who finally got the golden goose on this program and won an NCAA tournament game. Get Tyson as much help as you can to have him for the best senior year maybe anybody's ever had in this program.
And you and me have talked about this sitting courtside for years at Extra Mile Arena, why it's crazy they don't have any kind of retired numbers or banners hanging in the rafters of Extra Mile Arena. But if they were to ever do that, I would think at some point, regardless of what happens here, Tyson Degenhart's going to have to be on that list.
Heck yeah, man. I think Chris Childs is the first one you do, and you got to get him back, and you got to do the halftime ceremony. And he's kind of, the prized piece of the program or whatever, that main, at least NBA guy. But yeah, I think they should have several. Or if you can't hang them, could they be somewhere in the arena, like a wall of fame or something where you can go back? I mean, shoot, they should do some of that stuff. But again, Jeremiah Dickey's got a lot on his plate before he gets to that.
Programming note for tomorrow. I know I'm bad at teasing stuff without giving it away, but tomorrow, 9 a.m. on our show, speaking of former Broncos basketball, we'll have 2 special guests and an announcement tomorrow on Bronco Nation News. It is not a Bronco Nation News announcement. It is not a straight Boise State announcement. So I don't know if you can put 2 and 2 together. But cool thing for Boise State basketball and some former Broncos coming tomorrow at 9 a.m. on Bronco Nation News, and a cool partnership that we're also going to announce.
Basketball players or football players, former
basketball.
Okay. Cool.
Yes, that'll be coming tomorrow at 9 a.m. and a very prominent former Bronco will join me to help with the announcement. So
I hope it's James Webb.
He won't be tomorrow, but maybe in the next couple of months, who knows? Excited for, I think when the special guest surprise pops on tomorrow, people will be like, oh, holy bleep. Like, that's pretty cool. So stay tuned tomorrow, 9 a.m. Bronco Nation News will be part of a cool announcement of something happening later this summer. Okay, let's take a quick break, Johnny, and then I want to transform this. I want to get your take on the great George Holani and the Seahawks. We got some other comments and things that are rolling in as well, but I do want to thank our title sponsor and our studio sponsor. Our studio sponsor is Cutwater Spirits. More than 35 flavors of pre-mixed premium cocktails. You can pick one up at your local gas station or grocery store. Cutwater Spirits, perfect for your next game day tailgate. Rowpaint.com, our title sponsor. Those concrete coatings, never a better time. Whether it's your garage, your back patio, your basement, transform that ugly-looking concrete slab in one day at rowpaint.com. Check them out. Tell them you heard about it on Bronco Nation News. They'll hook you up with a great deal. If you're coming to the golf tournament, you're getting a sleeve of golf balls thanks to Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. They're handling our home mortgage. Brent Cotter and company doing a tremendous job We appreciate the whole staff at Idaho Central Credit Union. All your banking needs. Again, the Raines family, BNN, we've made the switch. I think Prater made the switch to ICCU as well. And again, they're doing our home mortgage. So all your banking needs, make sure you check them out. The best in the business is Idaho Central Credit Union, ICCU.com. Ridley's Family Markets. Shop Ridley's 14 locations around the state of Idaho. There's a couple around the Treasure Valley, including that Kuna location. You can check that out as well. I head down there all the time on my way to visit Johnny Ball games. So shopridleys.com. Check them out. And again, 40% off if you use their app. And you can get more information on that at shopridleys.com. And Matt Bauscher Real Estate. Johnny, I said this last week, but I was very sad to find out when Matt Bauscher had his birthday, he was only 39 years old. That dude is doing things at a young age still. Bauscher Real Estate, friend of mine, partner of mine, business partner, does a tremendous job. Number 1 ranked realtor for a reason. He's helping us buy our home, helping us sell our home, and watching firsthand how the process works. Him and Kelly and the whole team have just been tremendous to work with. Very appreciative, very impressed. And highly recommend the folks at Bauscher Real Estate. Next time you're looking to buy or sell a home, BauscherRealEstate.com. And Johnny, we're down to one foursome left for the morning. I know you're going to be out there hanging out. You guys are doing your show out there. It's going to be a lot of fun. Spencer Danielson is going to be out there. Some basketball coaches. We're trying to confirm the final list before I say too many of the names, but I know Maddox Madsen, Jonah Dalmas from the football team, Tyson Degenhart, RJ Keene from the basketball team, some coaches. And as I said, for the first time, we'll have a football coach out there, Spencer Danielson. Looking forward to this. Timberstone Golf Course, May 31st. If you want to come hang with some of your favorite players and coaches, no better spot to do it. Help raise money for a good cause, the Idaho Youth Sports Commission. So check it out, May 31st. Email me, rains@bronconationnews.com, or you can go to bronconationnews.com/golf to get more information. But we are nearing the end of a sellout, so get in now before, and it's about a month away. So looking forward to that. Johnny, George Holani, the Seattle Seahawks, your take.
Isn't that cool? Yes, I love it. And this is a good spot for George. They didn't draft a running back. They brought in another undrafted free agent from North Dakota State. That player never had a 1,000-yard season for the Bison. That player caught 14 passes in his career. So I'm assuming they're bringing that guy in for a role. If he makes the team, probably special teams, and to be a fourth running back on the roster that really isn't ever going to get a carry unless some injuries happen in front of them. Maybe that's the role that George Holani's going for too. It's weird because Holani, it felt like, and I did some research on the North Dakota State kid, and they're different backs. So the Seahawks brought in 2 undrafted rookie free agents. I said they never drafted a running back. And it feels like they're different types of players. So I honestly, I don't know how that's going to work. I would imagine they're not going to carry 5 running backs on their roster. I would imagine there might even be another running back that they bring in, maybe a veteran they can sign on a league minimum money. They're not paying any money in that running back room. Kenneth Walker is on a rookie deal. Zach Charbonnet is on a rookie deal. And Kenny McIntosh, their third back, was a 7th-round pick. So if they feel they need more stability in that room, post-June 1st cuts are coming. And there will be some good players that get cut after June 1st. Maybe Seattle goes in that route. If they don't, BJ, I mean, George Holani's just got to work. He's got to figure out a way to make himself useful on that team. Maybe he's going to say, hey, I can do everything for you. I can carry the football. I can block for your quarterback. I can catch the football. I can play on special teams. And maybe that can bring more to the table than the North Dakota State kid. I would imagine one of those guys, if nothing changes, BJ, might have a shot to make the 53. A lot of teams will carry 4 backs on their 53 if the 4th back can do everything, right? So George has to figure out a way to do that. But I like the situation for him, not just because I grew up loving the Seahawks, but for the detail that I mentioned. Their running back room set at 1-2, but at 3-4-5, it's not. Kenny McIntosh, by the way, they took him in from Georgia in the 7th round last year. And he was a guy who played situationally at Georgia, but he was really good when he played. And he's been a project. I remember when the Seahawks took McIntosh last year in the 1st round, I was like, oh, sweet, that move might pop. But he didn't do anything as a rookie. He's still trying to probably make the team just as much as George Holani is. So Preseason, BJ, you're going to watch more preseason Seattle Seahawks football than you ever have before. I'll have the party. We'll put burgers and dogs on the grill. I'll get the chips. I'll get the dips. I'll invite over the dorks, and we'll have a blast watching Hawks preseason football, rooting for George Holani.
Do you know if the other guy they signed, did he get a similar deal in terms of money to Holani?
No, I did not see that, BJ, but I would imagine no, but what's my imagination? That goes everywhere, huh?
Because that plays into it too in terms of the interest level they have in him, and to give him a $15,000 signing bonus and I think $100,000 guarantee. Good for George Holani. I hope it works. Hope he can make it. Cade Beresford getting a couple of tryouts with the Saints and then the Seahawks also. And then how about Ethan Card? We find out he's getting an invite to the Broncos minicamp. Ethan Card, only by 1.5 inches, had a better vert than John Mallory at the pro day.
He did really?
1.5. Yeah, you were 18. I believe he was 20 or something. You were 18 and a half, something like that. Yeah. I think only by about 2 inches, Ethan Card had you on the vert. So you're 2 inches away from getting a Broncos mini camp invite, John Mallory. But Beresford and Card, your thoughts there on the tryouts?
Start with Beresford. There are 2 weekends for rookie mini camp in the NFL. If you're wondering, well, why is he at 2 places? Well, he's going to be with the Seahawks week 1, and then he'll do the Saints week 2 for mini camp. Now, if the Seahawks say, we've seen enough, we really like you, here's an undrafted free agent contract we're sliding over, go ahead and sign it, and we'll keep you in the building, and you're going to be one of the 90-plus players that we go to training camp with. If that's the case, Cade's going to call his agent, and he's going to say, Haga, Haga, I'm a Seahawk, at least for now. I don't need to go to New Orleans. The reason you set that stuff up because, and I think you know this, these rookie mini camps in the NFL are interesting because it's all rookies. Now, you're going to have 30 players, 40 players in a rookie mini camp. You're not drafting 30 or 40 players, right? So you draft your guys, they all show up. You get your undrafted rookie free agents, they're there, but then you need to find other players to come and just fill out roster spots. They give them a helmet, a t-shirt, and it's a tryout. Prater called it like an extended version of Pro Day. That's the best comparison I've seen to this. And that is basically, it's Pro Day extended, but now you're on our turf in our building, wearing our gear, and good luck making the team, kid. That type of thing.
And they sign what, 3, 4 kid, 3, 4, 5, 2. I mean, it's very few from a rookie tryout actually get signed.
Very, very, very few. Prater, I'm a Prater. BJ, Joe Southwick was a Raider for a weekend, and good for him, right? Ethan Card's my Bronco for this weekend. But in most of the cases, my boy, Kakala Kaniho, he got this shot in Arizona for the weekend. So it does happen, and I'm sure some guys, you get the invite to stay a little longer. Absolutely. I mean, hey, it's better than not getting an invite. Last year, wasn't there a corner? Who was that BSU corner? Long, athletic, Tyreek? He had the pick 6 at UCF. Yeah, Tyreek LaBeouf, I thought, had a mini camp invite in Seattle last year. Now, a lot of the reason is, BJ, is geography. They don't want to pay much to bring people from long distances on this. So a lot of times, like Joe Southwick was a Bay Area kid. He was down there. It was easy for the Raiders just to invite him over for the weekend because it didn't cost him enough. Maybe that's a case with Ethan Card. Denver's somewhat close to Boise. It's a quick flight. Maybe that's the case with Cade Beresford. They knew he's from Woodinville. Okay, that's right by Seattle. Basically, Woodinville is Seattle. It's just on the east side. It's a nice neighborhood, but it's its own city. But if you live in Woodinville, you say you're from Seattle. So maybe that's the case for Cade Beresford, and hopefully he can turn that into something pretty promising. Ethan Card, I don't know, BJ. I would say that, hey, man, do your best, but I'll be surprised if Ethan Card gets invited, but the hell do I know, man? Good for him. He's going to work his ass off. I'm sure he's working out right now, getting ready for this, and we'll pay attention. But I would think George Holani clearly has the best chance to at least make a practice squad, and hopefully Cade Beresford has that opportunity as well. I think he's a real solid player, and I think you know what you're going to get, and I hope Cade Beresford is on a practice squad somewhere next year. I love that dude. I know how hard he works. I know how much he wants this. I know what it would mean to Cade to get to settle down at least for a year in Seattle and be a Seahawk. I mean, Cade Beresford, these kids are young, but when Cade Beresford was a kid growing up, he caught the LOB era as a kid. So he must love what they're doing in Seattle, and that would be a really cool thing. Hopefully they let him keep his helmet, but I doubt it.
Yeah, that's certainly with Beresford, yes, I agree. Great guy. He was one of the few players that, we don't talk to these players, Johnny. When they're at practice, we're on the sideline, we're staying far away. We're not trying to get in any trouble. It's not like we're out there, smoozing with the players and coaches during practice. We're as far away as we can so we don't get in trouble. So with that said, we'll walk from one side to the other, and sometimes you got to squeeze behind, where there's not a lot of room, where the linemen are doing their drill or whatever, and you're trying to stay out of the way and not become part of the drill or whatever. And Cade Beresford was always 100% of the time would say, "Hey BJ, what's up? Hey BJ, how's it going?" Always would say hello to the media, always would be nice, in the middle of practice. And of course you're like, "Hey, how's it going?" And then you try to get your ass out of there quick so no coach saw that. And then but you're like, "Yeah, hey, how's it going?" But I mean that small stuff just stuck with me. He was a very respectful kid, always was super nice, and how dependable he was at right tackle the last 2 years. I totally, and great family. His dad's awesome. We see him down there at the road games, on the sideline at spring games and stuff. Former Bronco, obviously. Harry was a good dude. So hoping for the Beresford family that he can latch on with the Seahawks and make that work. That'd be a pretty cool story. And you mentioned Card. Yeah, good luck to him. Didn't have the greatest pro day. Must have a great agent. And good for him to he just didn't have a lot of stats at Boise State either. It's nothing.
I'm with you, man. I'm with you.
I'm not trying to dog on him. I mean, good for him. He was not the guy that I was expecting to sign a free agent deal. So he must have impressed the Broncos that and when I wasn't looking at the tryout and pro day, and good for him. Hope he sticks. He's got the size, just didn't get a ton of playing time at Boise State or a ton of tape to prove it. But maybe he is a late bloomer and is going to get something going here. But as you said, at worst, Johnny, he can for a weekend say he was a Denver Bronco, and he'll have a picture somewhere to show his kids of him taking a snap or lining up at right guard, wearing a Denver Broncos practice gear for a couple of days. So regardless of what happens, he can say, in a kind of weird way, he was an NFL player for a weekend, and it's a pretty cool experience for all those guys. You mentioned Kaniho, a lot of those guys it happens to. I mean, Jake Rowe, I think, signed for a weekend. A lot of these guys get their one weekend tryout. It is what it is, and they've got the graphic forever. They've got a couple pictures forever, as you said, maybe a helmet, probably a couple T-shirts, and a pair of gloves or something, and a picture in front of the facility. But it's pretty cool. So congrats to Ethan Card for even getting the tryout.
Static. Does that surprise you? I know positions are different, but Ethan Card took his. I
would have given you good odds on that one, man.
Static Cobbs. Yeah. I feel for Static Cobbs. I know. I talked to him after pro day. He had some injuries. He really just wanted a rookie mini camp invite. That's all he wanted, a chance. I don't know. I know the rookie mini camps are already set. I don't know if rosters are set. I don't know his health.
We'll take him on the Battlehawks, man.
I wish Steph Cobbs would have got a shot at this. That's a good kid. And he had a nice career. He's got some suddenness, some explosiveness, good hands. I thought he had a pretty good pro day. I would have thought Static would have been in there, but man, there's like 1 million receivers right now. Every team has like 15, 16 receivers in their receiver room now. It's how they build their roster. So it's tougher.
And with Billy Bowens getting hurt at pro day too, I mean, I thought he was set to probably get something with how well he was testing. So obviously can't participate in the tryouts, but we'll see if somebody gives him a chance at some point to come in. But probably hurt. I know people are saying, "Oh, he still did enough." Well, no, this is the time you need to be out there showing teams during the rookie mini camps and stuff. And so that really hurt Billy.
Yeah, no one waits on you for rookie mini camp invites. And I think that's probably what Billy would have had. Hey, we saw your pro day, looked really good. We're going to extend that a little bit. Come in for the weekend, Billy Bowens. I think that would have been a shot for him. If it's not football for Billy, I would like to see Billy Bowens settle down in Boise. He's been a pillar of the community. Just talk to Billy Bowens. No one, it felt like on that roster, felt more appreciative of this community and the brotherhood and everything than Billy Bowens. Like, he really, really assimilated well, I thought, into this culture, into this town. I would love to see Billy Bowens, I don't know, become like a Matt Boucher or something where they stay in the community and develop business contacts and stuff like that. Billy, if you're watching, man, if it's not the NFL, don't leave us in Boise, man. We want guys like you in this community. You make a difference. I believe you can, and hopefully everything works out for you. But man, Boise's a good place for a lot of people. Hopefully you stay.
I believe 8 p.m. tomorrow on the next edition of Riley and Rid. I believe their guest is Billy Bowens. So 8 p.m. tomorrow night, Riley and Rid. I know they have Billy either this week or coming up. I don't know, Johnny. You and Sanford did your weekly things and said we're done. Riley and Rid, like twice a month, are going to try to see if they can keep this thing going here throughout the summer. So you got some competition on the BNN shows, but they got some, Coach Rid and Riley both have a pretty good Rolodex of guys, and I don't think it's quite to the BNN After Dark level with Winston, but they're gonna try to bring on some former players and coaches maybe twice a month and just kind of see what happens with that moving forward.
I'm kind of sorry you canceled the BNN After Dark.
Johnny,
I don't know if anybody in the chat wants to chime in. If anybody in the chat, if you guys want it.
Kill for 20 seconds. Keep talking. I got to take this phone call. Keep talking.
I don't know if anybody misses it or not, but we loved BNN After Dark. BJ, you need to get that thing going again. You guys comment in the chat room if you wanted to return. Riley and Rid's going to be awesome. I've been watching the last couple episodes, talked a little bit about with Riley Smith. I ran into Riley on the field on the spring game, and he was like, hey, man, I got to pick your brain a little bit on hosting shows and podcasts because I'm really liking it. And I was like, dude, let's go have a cup of coffee or something sometime, and let's put pen to paper on some stuff. So if I can help Riley out in any way, I would love to do that. Riley and Rid. And BJ, you need, and by the way, wow, you changed your commercials on this thing. Did everybody else notice this? That was terrific, BJ, getting the production work in. Well done. I knew you'd like that. I got more to come too. I got 2 different Lithia commercials to start rotating through. 3 different Row Paint commercials to start rotating through. So we're still working on Forest though. Yeah, I just wish I had an app for mowing all these lawns. Oh, Forest.
Hey, speaking of our sponsors, I got a couple more I got to thank here real quick. Speaking of Lithia Ford, LithiaFordBoise.com. You can view their full inventory of vehicles online. Again, they got 6 NIL deals with student athletes at Boise State, including 4 on the football team. The Raines family purchased our F-150 from Lithia Ford. So, again, couldn't be happier with the purchase. The process was so easy. We found a couple online that we liked and did the research at LithiaFordBoise.com, went in. We were on our way in a couple hours after test driving and making our choice. So check them out, LithiaFordBoise.com. You looking for a job? How about transportation compliance service? The trucking industry is booming right now, and they can help you with all the different permits and things you need to get out there towing that first load in no time. Let transportation compliance service help get you on the road. Check them out, transcomservice.com. Taco Bell is also hiring, TacoBellWorks.com, and they're giving free food, and they're giving half your wages the very next day after you work. So you need a new job, need some quick cash, don't want to wait 3 weeks for that first paycheck. At Taco Bell, you get half your wages the very next day after your shift. You also get free food while you work. So check out TacoBellWorks.com. And again, the locally owned SON Management, Nicolason Family Group have been, they've got, a ton of Treasure Valley Taco Bell stores are donating a lot of money back to Boise State for student athlete scholarships. So we appreciate their support of Bronco Nation News, and you can check them out at SON Management, the group at TacoBellWorks.com. And Johnny, the Blue and Orange store, how can I phrase this? When the news comes out today, hopefully about Boise State basketball, I'll just say go support sponsors like the Blue and Orange store, because there are boosters and companies and folks really stepping up to help bring in some of these new players in this NIL world, and be a perfect day to go support the Blue and Orange store and the blueandorangestore.com. Travis Hawks and company are big supporters, obviously, at Boise State, but also Bronco Nation News. $40 order online gets you free shipping at the blueandorangestore.com. You can also go to the second floor of the Boise Town Square Mall there next to Pro Image and check them out. All the jerseys, shirts, hats, Ashton Genty, Heisman shirts, the NIL shirts, they got it all at the Blue and Orange store. And again, very appreciative of the Blue and Orange store. And again, on a day like today where you're maybe adding to the roster and NIL is a factor, go support the Blue and Orange store, the blueandorangestore.com. Timberstone Golf Course will be out there for the tournament next month. PlayTimberstone.com. Check them out. And they got the new food truck. Your guy, Chef Wally, Johnny, our guy, Chef Wally, installed a new food truck out there at Timberstone for them, and they've got all kinds of new food options and stuff. And so highly recommend it. PlayTimberstone.com to book your tee time. The best course in the valley. PlayTimberstone.com. And of course, Lean Feast, I'm dropping pounds. Prater's dropping pounds. LeanFeastMeridian.com. Over 10,000 meal combinations. It's all fresh. It's all custom made. Check them out. LeanFeastMeridian.com. The website's wrong at the bottom. LeanFeastMeridian.com. You go in there, you tell them what you want. You pick out your protein, you pick out your veggie, you pick out your carb, and then 2 minutes in the microwave, you're eating surf and turf for lunch. So check them out. LeanFeastMeridian.com. All right, Johnny, final minute or two of the show here, wrapping it up. I know you guys on Idaho Sports Talk kind of put a wrap on spring ball and looked ahead to the offseason the last couple of days. What for you right now, and maybe this is a bigger topic for next Wednesday, but Spencer Danielson's to-do list right now till the first day of practice against Georgia Southern, what do you think this team needs to do, if anything? Positions that need to improve, players that need to improve, positions they need to figure out a starter, roster, anything at all, Boise State football in the months of May, June, and July, the next 90 days here till fall camp starts. What are you looking at?
I may sound like a broken record, but, this topic, this question, we talk about it a lot on IST and just everywhere else in the community. For me, it's the cornerback position, the depth there. I love 1 and 2 with McCoy and Irby. By the way, for the BNN family, Jeremiah Irby, Tusty and BJ. I love the 2 corners, but behind them, I like Markel Reed in theory, 6th year. I mean, Markel Reed was playing on this team before the COVID season. And I like him in theory, but I mean, he was barely out there in spring. He has had a hard time staying healthy, and I don't know where the availability is going to come with Markel Reed. You need to play 3 or 4 corners now. Canijo's now a safety, correct? He's been switched. He's not a corner. Thornton, I've heard good things about. I've heard things about Deontay Thornton. Yeah, I've heard good things about Griffey. Who's the other one? There's a real maybe the people are saying maybe the fastest DB in the group. Is it I can't remember the name on that. The depth chart's not in front of me. I wish it was, BJ. There's another corner there too, but massively inexperienced. I mean, if
Franklin Johnson Jr.
That's it. If like say an injury happens to corner 1 or corner 2, I mean, then are you moving Canijo back into the corner room? I don't know. That's the biggest position for me. This is college football, man. You got to defend the pass. You got to have good corners. And I don't know if you go in the portal to get one or if you like your roster and you continue to develop. And by the time the season starts, you're going to feel good about the depth you have at corner. But that's the one thing for me.
I know you guys are getting ready to have your show meeting, plan out the show today, but give us a tease here. What do we got? Idaho Sports Talk today, 3 to 6.
Well, this time of year, we try to catch up with former Boise State football players that are currently in the NFL. The draft's complete. Mini camps for veterans are on the horizon. So today at 3:15, we have this guy right during the draft process. I think the first time we had him was before the combine. And he's been coming back on the show a couple times a year ever since, and he's really let us peek in to his professional career. And that's John Bates, the tight end, Nissa, Oregon. He's going to come on the show today too. He loves Boise State football, so he loves talking about that. He's in a contract year with the Commanders, so there's some interesting things to talk with Batesy about. Also, not to mention, hey, he's got a new quarterback. He's got a new coach. He's got a new offensive coordinator in Cliff Kingsbury in Washington. So 3:15, BJ, one of your favorites, John Bates.
Looking forward to that. By the way, tomorrow I'll have Latrell Caples on tomorrow morning, and then our special announcement, basketball related. We'll get into that tomorrow as well. But speaking, you mentioned Markel Reed. I already taped the interview with Latrell Caples, and he was doing it at Markel Reed's house. And Markel Reed's smoke detector needed a battery, so like every 90 seconds it was beeping in the background, and it was hilarious with Latrell Caples and getting on Markel Reed for not changing the battery on his smoke detector and interrupting the interview. So, hopefully they got some new batteries over there at the Markel Reed house on the smoke detector. But that'll be tomorrow and 9 a.m. It'll be Latrell Caples, and then also the basketball announcement with a I would say a legend. I would say a Boise State basketball legend jumping on the show tomorrow. Maybe legend's a little too strong. He hasn't been gone that long.
Coker? You got John Coker? I love it.
Legend may have been a little tough. So, don't miss tomorrow's show, 9 a.m. Don't miss Idaho Sports Talk today, 3 to 6. We'll talk to you guys later. Bronco Nation News Live, bronconationnews.com.